there and welcome to my channel. I'm Jennifer. This is A Country Life. Maria and I are going to be baking. So you see she is getting some things out here so that we can do some Christmas baking already. I know that this probably is not going to last until Christmas. However, in just a couple of days we do have a potluck to go to, and I had heard, let me just give you a side note on potlucks. Yes, sugar too. If you have ever watched the channel, it's Darlene's channel from Super at 60. She mentioned one time in one of her videos where she was doing something like church supper dinners or potluck dinners, something like that. And she made just like, it was one of those aha moments for me, because I've always wondered when I go to a potluck, am I taking enough? You know, especially when we had 7 kids at home and you show up with 9 people and you take a dish to pass. I'm like, does this really seem like enough to bring? And she said the rule of thumb, which, I mean, at my age, I feel like I should know this, but I didn't. But the rule of thumb is to take twice as much as your family would normally eat at a meal. So if you're taking a casserole and your family would eat the entire 9x13 pan at a meal, you'd want to take 2. If you're taking, I don't know, 2 dozen cookies or something like that, and your family can consume 2 dozen cookies at a meal, then you'd want to take 4. So whatever it happens to be. And I've actually taken that. Now, what I have actually done is actually just taken 2 things. So I've taken one thing, like the last potluck we went to, I made a scalloped potatoes and ham, and I had a whole 9x13 of that, and then I also took a 9x13 pan of dessert. And I thought that that seemed like double for my family. All right, so anyway, that's what we're gonna be doing. We're gonna make cookies here. We have a potluck, so we're gonna wanna take some of these to the potluck in just 3 days. It seems crazy that we already have a St. Nicholas Day potluck coming up, but we're going to be doing that. And then also we might share some of these cookies with, I don't even know whoever, maybe with my husband.
Sounds good.
Oh, okay. All 3 recipes that Maria and Peter and I are going to be making today are coming out of my cookbook. If you haven't heard, free shipping until Christmas. We are first making bakery sugar cookies with Christmas sprinkles. We are going to make Andy's Creme De Menthe chunk cookies as well as winter bark. Since my butter is not completely room temperature, I'm going to get this mixing while I measure out a 1/2 cup of shortening. We're going to need to get a 1/2 cup of packed brown sugar.
Brown sugar? Are you talking to the camera?
No, I'm talking to you. Oh. Not to the camera. I'm actually talking to you. And then we need 1.5 cups of sugar, so that's 3. We also need a tablespoon of corn syrup.
You didn't tell me we needed corn syrup.
I know, I forgot. And I just realized that actually there is a mistake in the cookbook. We need a tablespoon of vanilla as well. And somehow that got left out. Oh, you want to put it in? Okay. And then we need a teaspoon of baking soda. Yep. What is that, 2 so far?
That's 2.
Okay. Make sure you get all of that out. So we're actually getting, yep. And I'll do the half, okay?
Okay.
Since the dough is a little bit of a stiff dough for the bakery sugar cookies, I do like to mix in the baking soda, baking powder, and salt along with the egg. Well, not right along. I like to put the egg in, give it a little mix, then add in the baking soda, baking powder, and salt so that it can really fully incorporate. Then I can just mix it just enough until the flour is mixed in. I have noticed that if you ever think it just seems a little too dry, especially if you have a really dry day when you're making this, I have added in a tablespoon of water every now and then too.
It isn't good. It's delicious.
Do you know how to turn the oven on?
Mm-mm.
Well, it's time you learn. This recipe has to be set to 375, so you have to hit the bake button, and then you have to hit the up arrow until it says 375.
What's the bake button?
It says bake. Hit the bake button, the word bake, and then hit the up arrow. Since this is just a little bit more of a dry dough, kind of a crumbly, you can kind of see how it sort of is a little more of a crumbly dough. I do like to sort of roll it or at least squeeze it in my hands just to be sure that it sticks together. When I put it on, I'll have to turn the camera down this way. When I put it on the tray, and then when I put it on the tray, I like to just kind of press it down lightly, just like that, and then we will put all of the sprinkles on. Actually, you know what we're going to do, Maria? So we're going to do a tray of red, then we'll do a tray of green, and in the middle,
I'm going to put some Christmas trees.
Yep, and then you can put the Christmas trees in the middle. So actually what we're going to do is I have a little dish and I have some red sugars in there. Once I have it kind of flattened like this, Maria is going to take it. Right, Maria? You're going to do this. Here, I can do that, honey, okay? You're going to take it, you're going to press it down like that. Look at the tops. Isn't that pretty? Yeah. Then you'll put it here, and then we'll get the Christmas trees. And then what we'll do, let's put the Christmas trees here too.
Here, I can dump them in.
Yeah. And then we have these little Christmas tree sprinkles. And then what she's going to do is she's just going to come along and press a few Christmas trees. That's okay. Those are so pretty.
Oh, let me see.
Now we're definitely going to let these cool on the pan for 2 minutes, but I can tell they're done because the edges have just a done look, but they are definitely still very soft. Here are the green ones going in. This is our third pan here, and you can see not very many. So this recipe makes 24, so 48, and another, what do we have over there, Maria? 9, so 57 cookies the bakery sugar cookies recipe made. Peter is going to start working on the Andy's Creme De Menthe cookies, and this recipe, you can find this online. It was originally on the back of the brand name Andy's Creme De Menthe little pieces. I couldn't find those this year, so I had to get the Great Value ones. I'm hoping they taste just the same, and the recipe is not on here. So I have it in my cookbook on page 66. I also know if you just type in Andy's Creme De Menthe cookies. Now, Peter, how much dark brown sugar do we need?
It said a 3/4 cup.
And what do you have there?
A 3/4.
That can't be 3/4 cup. Is that 1/3 or is that 1/4?
Oh, that's 1/3.
1/3. Okay, so why don't you get the actual 3/4 cup? It'll be a lot easier to measure. So this particular cookie recipe, you want to pay attention. You mix up the butter, the sugars, the leavening agents, the vanilla, and the eggs. and then you stir in the Creme De Menthe pieces, and then you stir in the flour. So it's just a little bit different way. I don't really know why. It also says to chill for an hour. I never chill it. We've always had fine luck without chilling it. If you are one who tends to chill the dough when it says chill, can you tell me why you chill it, and if you get a better cookie in the end, or like what's the reasoning? Some things I do chill, like cutout cookies. I also chill my 50-cent pieces, but for the most part, just like drop cookies, I don't chill. Tell me why I should. Peter put everything in so far except for the egg, actually 2 eggs. So why don't you crack the eggs in this bowl, and then just to be sure, we have them out already, hun. Yep, we got out every ingredient that we would need. So Peter will crack the eggs into this bowl here. We'll just check for shells. Okay, pour that egg in since it looks good. Outside we've got fun things going down too. So Warren and Sam are actually putting a gutter up in this area right here. This is where we walk outside from the garage. We've never had a gutter there, and it just always seems to ice up in the winter, and we have to use a lot of salt or sand or chip. One of the above, or all. And anyway, they're getting a gutter up. I'm so excited. Warren came home this morning from Fleet Farm with a gutter, and I was like, woohoo! So Peter asked a really good question a minute ago. He almost wanted to put, whoops, unlock on this side. He wanted to move on to the next step, and I was like, no, you have to beat that a little bit harder. And all of a sudden, it just changed, didn't it?
Yeah.
It turned from, I don't know, you explain what you saw.
Well, it turned from like a dark, super like dark tan, almost like a brown, to like kind of like a peanut tan.
Color?
Yeah.
Kind of a lighter, you're making a big shadow, Maria, your head is.
Like a lighter peanut tan.
Yeah, and the grains of sugar look a little bit more dissolved, don't they?
And these are amazing.
So anyway, yeah, if you're doing some baking and you're kind of like, should I keep mixing it or not? If it's cookie dough, definitely keep mixing until it turns a lighter color than what it started as, and the sugar granules look like they've kind of started to break down. Yeah, pour that in.
Oh, this
So,
is so good.
Yep, a little different order for this cookie dough. All right, that looks good. And you don't have to mix this long. You're just trying to incorporate those in. And then for flour, not yet. And then for flour, what does it say we need, Peter? How much flour?
2 cups and 2/3 cup flour.
Okay, so you do that.
Where's the cup?
We have a 2/3 cup here, which you can use. That just had shortening in it. And that's a 3/4. We need a cup. The cup is over there. So what are you going to do?
So I'm going to put 2 of the 1 cups and
Yep.
1 of the 2/3 cups.
Okay, of just regular white flour, right?
Yep.
Awesome.
This is I already scoop it when I
Yep.
do like chocolate chip cookies.
So the Creme De Menthe cookies are out of the oven, and I have to be honest with you, I think we were so excited to get them into the oven that we forgot to flatten them a little bit. I usually kind of give them like a little press down, so I did that on the last pan, but there's only 6 cookies on it, I think. So they look a little different than they normally do. They're still going to taste good. At least ask Joe. He's already popped 1 or 2.
Taste?
Nope, we are all actually waiting for supper. Right, Joe?
Yeah.
We are.
Yeah, he already ate all them.
No, he didn't eat all of those, but he did. I did see him sneak one, but we're going to wait for supper. It's actually been a few days here. I'm finally getting back into the kitchen to make the winter bark. You know how things go. You just have these plans of what you're going to do, and then, well, it just doesn't quite happen the way you want it to. So I'm back into the kitchen here. The first thing I need to do is to weigh out 1 pound of the white bark, or the almond bark. I also have to weigh out 14 ounces of cashews. Now, feel free to use salted cashews or unsalted cashews. It's kind of like whatever you're looking for that flavor. I like that sweet and salty and that roasted cashew flavor. If you don't want that, just go with like a roasted unsalted cashew. I think the very first time I had winter bark, it was actually with unsalted cashews, and I was sold. I was like, this is so good. But now I always just like the salted cashews. I just have a makeshift double boiler here, some water in the bottom of this big kettle, and then I have another stainless steel kettle here, or sorry, stainless steel bowl, and I'm just melting up all of my almond bark. This is 1 pound. While that's working at melting, which it's going to take a little while, I'm going to get some of the other ingredients going as well. And I like to roughly chop the cashews.
One.
Uh-huh.
So, Maria. Oh my god. Yeah, it was snowy.
So I'm just going to line my pan here with the parchment paper. I have 2 just in case. I'm not sure if I'm going to need both of them. I like this to be pretty thin, but so we'll see. I just like to be ready in case I need another one. I should let you know that I am doubling this recipe. So if you have my cookbook, this is on page 66. This is the winter bark, but I'm doubling it. I have 1 of the bags from Aldi of the bittersweet, and I have 1 of the Ghirardelli. This is what the original recipe called for. I feel like they taste very similar. So now that the bittersweet chocolate is melted, and I should point out that I used 2 bags because, you know, originally, years ago, the bags were 11.5 ounces. They're now only 10 ounces. I didn't like get a 3rd bag and add a couple more ounces. I just call it good with that, with the 2 10-ounce bags. Okay, I'm going to put in all of the cashews, except I kind of kept those little crumbs out. I'm going to stir this up, and once this is all stirred, my battery light is flashing right now at me, but as soon as this is stirred here, I will pour it onto that parchment paper.
Mom,
Yeah.
where'd my bib go?
Probably on the floor in the bathroom. And that's what it looks like all spread out. I just tried to spread it as much as I could, so it was kind of just a single layer of cashews. And I found that almond bark is kind of a weird thing. It seems like the more you try to melt it, the little bit more stiff it gets until you stir it really hard. Once you stir it, it almost liquefies again. So I stirred that all up. See how liquidy it is now? And I'm just going to put this over top. I kind of just glob it in there. And then the idea here is to just start swirling. You kind of have to just come up with a method that seems to work well for you. Okay, and that's it. I'm just going to put this, I have a cold area, we call it the airlock. It's just basically a space between 2 doors going to outside. And so I'm just going to set it in there, and it'll get cold, and as soon as it's nice and cold, which will probably take about an hour or so for it to firm all the way up, I'll bring it back out and I'll break it into little pieces. So it is a number of days later, and this obviously is completely hard. It has been chilling in the airlock. It's very, very cold. And that is what winter bark looks like. So what I like to do is I just kind of pick it up like that, fold over the parchment paper, and then I just do some breaks. And it'll kind of crack into pieces. Maria is actually working on making some tags. So we're just making some quick tags for some bread that we're making for their homeschool co-op teachers right now. But anyway, I like to do some pieces that are bigger and then some pieces that are smaller so that you know, depending on
We're still using
the size of
paper.
piece that a person wants. And then I will just store it in a tin. And this is a nice, it looks really cute in these type of bags like this here, these little clearish and patterned bags tied with a little ribbon or something as a Christmas present. Yeah, just pretty. I think it adds a really pretty look to the Christmas cookie trays. And finally, after all of those days, I think we started this video last week and we're finally finishing it, but there's going to be more Christmas baking to come. So I hope that you guys tune in for those. I will pop a couple. Oh, I thought I turned that off. I will pop a couple up right here in case you want to see some of the Christmas baking videos from past years. I will see you guys over there. Bye.